What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with our Tales of the Rays video. We have a quick producer's letter to go through. This is producer's letter 52. There's a couple interesting things here, about the future of the game and what we can expect. And, we can speculate on some stuff based on everything here. So let's just dive right into it. So right up here, they talk about Tales of Arise real quick, and they're basically just talking about how they thought it was cool, or they thought it was genius that instead of using, because I guess the main issue with the anime cut-ins with Mystic Arts and normal Tales games was that it there was a time needed to load the effects, so I guess it made it a little bit harder to implement. So I guess the way that they did it here, just making it part of the animation, makes it seem more seamless. Even though it's still technically loading something, it's happening during an animation. So what I'm obviously referring to, if you haven't kept up with Tales of Arise news, is that they got rid of the anime cut-ins when you use a Mystic Art, and instead, it just does a quick, close-up on the character's actual face during the animation. So you can definitely tell what the cut-in is. It's just different than what we're used to, but obviously, when Alphen and the rest of the Arise crew come to Rays, they will have normal cut-ins because that's just how Rays works. They're not gonna only have like 6, characters who don't have cut-ins while the other, 220 characters in the game have them. So obviously, at least to some capacity, we will see what the anime cut-ins would have looked like had they been in Arise. So I guess that's good at least. I do like that they're talking about Arise's producer letter, because it's kind of them telling us, like, hey, we're aware, we're thinking about Arise. We are going to add them at some point. I still think, December or January is probably the earliest we could expect them, but who knows? Because as we know, Rays is very, very spoilery with its Mirage Arts and stuff like that. So I'm sure they want to give people at least a little bit of time to actually play through Arise before they start spoiling everybody. Okay, version 4.5.0 update plans. This update will be for form change, quality of life, and model brush-ups. Form change update points, there are 2 of them. The first one is UI changes, making form changes and their bases more easily recognizable in menus, which I think is good because sometimes it is kind of hard to find Schwan. And I'm sure once we get a bunch more, you're just filling out even more and more and more. So we'll have to see how that kind of looks for sure. And number 2, make form changes more beneficial. Raising both the base and change forms will add to both of their equipment levels and give them stat bonuses. So it seems like characters with form changes inevitably will be stronger than normal characters because you're technically adding equipment from 2 different characters together. So when 4.5.0 happens, do expect that your Schwan, if you're able to pull him, and your Raven get a decent power boost, I would assume. Excuse me. UI updates. We've been working for better models as we progress. I mean, that's obvious. If you look at day 1 Rays character models, both in battle and cutscenes, and you look at them now, it looks like 2 totally different games. But the models from before still weren't quality, so in order to give new players the best tutorial experience they can get, we update the models for tutorial characters and the background. Okay, so it seems like it's just for, tutorial stuff. Okay. And then they also said, and the background in the scenario, so that obviously means when you're playing the story and you get those cutscenes where the characters are actually there, not just the skit images. I guess they're going to update those as well. Probably not for I'm sure they're probably eventually going to do it for battle even more, but for now it seems like this is what they're starting with. Okay, future plans, summer updates, event renewal, something to lighten the farming and renewing exchange shop. So they've already kind of updated how things work. You don't have to hold down on the plus arrow to exchange a whole bunch of currency. There's now a bar and you can just hit max and boom, you do it immediately, but it seems like they have more event renewal stuff to kind of work with. Autumn update, Spirit Gear renewal. This is good. I mean, I guess it depends what they decide to kind of change with it, but I guess the main issue I kind of have is, obviously not everyone's going to summon on every Spirit Gear, and not everyone's going to spend the diamonds to farm up every Spirit Gear to 5 for every event. So, me, for example, for the last, 3.5, 4 months, I've been farming I already have Velvet and Estelle's done. They're both up to 5. And I'm solely working on Shing's. And for the last like 4 months, I've still been working on it. In like another 2 or 3 days, I'll finally get him to Spirit Gear 5. And then I can start working on the Cress, Mint, and Riala set, which I think I already have Riala at 5. I think I pulled hers. And then I think I farmed it out. So I think she's at 5, but Mint and Cress I'll be working on next for sure. What else we got? Okay, winter preparations for 5th anniversary. So, I mean, if you had any doubts that we would have another anniversary, there you go. Winter, so, around December, they'll get stuff prepared for, late February, early March, which is when the 5th anniversary will be. And then 6th year onwards, new endeavors. So, I mean, that really just tells us, they have new stuff planned. Nothing in here about what they're planning to do once the story actually ends. Which does kind of tell me that the Last Cradle might still be going on past the 5th anniversary. But we'll have to wait and see. It really depends how many chapters this is going to have. Okay, let's look at the June event schedule. So, Spirit Gears are going to be first. So, I mean, as we expected, since Jaeger and them are going to be story, it made sense the Spirit Gears would be next. So, on the 15th, so pretty much, a week from now, a week and a few hours will be when the Spirit Gears will be dropping when the current event ends. Kokis is wind, Caius is earth, Sentinel is fire. Kokis, because of his Chuni setting, was dark or wind, and judging off his weapon and character, we chose wind. I think that makes perfect sense. Caius and Sentinel, we mainly chose based off their... okay, let me try again. Caius and Sentinel, we chose mainly judging off of their art pool in Rays. Sentinel in particular, at first he may seem water because he's a marine trooper, but he doesn't actually learn any water arts in Legendia either. I honestly, and this is Legendia spoiler territory, but I was kind of hoping they'd do something unique and give him Nerifus, but I guess they want to, follow his art pool, so I guess fire does make sense. And then I guess Caius, there's no reason besides the fact that I guess he just uses earth arts. So there you go. Last Cradle Chapter 9 with Jaeger, Gosh, and Droid in late June, which I actually will not be here to stream day 1. I've mentioned this in other videos, but I will actually be out of town from the 21st to the 25th. So if the chapter does drop on the night, the 24th at night, 25th morning, I probably won't stream it until the 26th or the 27th when I'm actually back. Same, obviously, for Christoria side chapter, if you watch those streams as well. But, Leviathan Claw Guild appeared in front of Yuri many times, and they will again in Tir Nanog. I am kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed, but not disappointed, because I was really hoping, because Zagi kind of worked for Leviathan's Claw, because he kind of just took on jobs. So I was hoping maybe, he would come with Jaeger, but this is fine because then I don't have to worry about summoning for Zagi right now. I'm sure he'll come sometime down the line. A lot of fans are obviously very upset because it's we literally just got Alexei not even 3 months ago. So the Vesperia bias is back in full swing for sure. But it's also kind of good that it's just a story chapter because it's much easier to skip a story chapter than it is an event. Because there's no seasonals or anything. And then, okay, here's the big thing down here. And yes, there's still more for June. It's a title we talked about before. It's the people who were stopping in the 3-star hotel in the Tales of the Rays Gekijo. Now, if you don't know what Tales of the Rays Gekijo is, it translates to Tales of the Rays Theater, and it was a little animated thing they did during it was after I think it was during Marriage Prison. When they did it. It was after the 1-year anniversary, and it was during Marriage Prison. They had this little set of animations come out. There were just fun Rays animations, mainly about trying to host a party to celebrate Tales of the Rays. And in one of the episodes, you have Ix and crew. They walk up to a hotel, which they think is the venue for them, but it was actually the venue for Tales of Asteria. Tales of Asteria, at the time, was making more money than Rays. Now it's completely opposite. It's been switched. But that's the joke they're kind of going with here, is that Asteria had rented out the 3-star hotel while the Rays cast was in some like rundown kind of like backwater motel type area. So this is basically them hinting that, it's basically them outright telling us that the Asteria collab is happening in June. So I think the final event for this month. So how many days are in June? Let me see real quick. There are 30 days in June. So Wednesday the 30th should be when the Asteria collab starts. And I assume it'll go, till the middle of July. So if you are someone who's going to, obviously we don't know what the collab Mirage Arts are going to be. I'd say the 4 most likely candidates are the 3 White Lions. So Yuri, Milla, and Lloyd in those white outfits from Asteria, the 4th arc. Or Dark Earhart from the 2nd arc of Asteria. I think if we get 4, I think it'll be those 4. If we only get 3, I think it'll be the White Lions. But if that's something you would want to summon for, because I can't imagine how often this Asteria collab would even happen, I would say save, save, save. I think this is probably one of the more important collabs to save for. Plus, this month is actually pretty dry, if you really think about it. Spirit Gears you can farm up. You don't have to get them day 1. And then, Jaeger, Gosh, and Droid, yes, they're cool, they're unique. It's the first time we're going to get to play as them. But since they're coming in story chapters tend to be not as nice because they're going to shove at least another character or 2 in here. They'll probably shove like all of Yuri's Mirage Arts in there, maybe all of Raven's Mirage Arts in there. So you do also have to worry about this. Could also be their opportunity to bring back Schwan. For people who didn't get Schwan, they could throw Schwan on the banner. So it's going to be much harder to get everything here than if you wait for like seasonals for them. But of course, it's up to each individual person. But for the most part, this month is a big skip for me. I did one last multi on the because I really wanted to try and get that dual Mirage Art for Sophie and Little Queen because I could use a second Mirage Art for both of them. But obviously, I don't want to say obviously, I'm not showing you, but I did not get them. So I'm good. I'll be saving for the rest of the month. And obviously we'll have a new tower when the collab starts. That'll be another 250 diamonds you can add to your summoning currency. And I'm sure the collab itself will probably have a decent amount of currency to get by itself. Not sure what story they could possibly do for that. I wonder if it'll probably be a raid. And we'll probably just fight one of the Asteria bosses. Maybe we'll fight the giant lion or something. But I guess we'll have to see. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Let me know what you guys think about this stuff down below. Very happy to see, they're already thinking about 5th anniversary and year 6 and moving beyond, which definitely tells me this game has a long life ahead of it. I will be curious to see as we get closer what the plans are for story, because they're obviously going to replace the story with something, because they're not just gonna end the story and just say, because you really think about it, that's 120 just thinking about currency, that's 120 diamonds you're just losing per month then if they just have no more story. So I think they will replace it with something, whether it's like side stories like Asteria does, a brand new story with new main characters. I think there will be something, so it'll be very exciting to see. That's gonna be it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.